Since Pokemon first introduced abilities in Generation 3, our companions both on our journeys and in battle, whether gym battles or against fellow trainers around the world, have had unique abilities that gave them some edge over others. A careful and clever trainer learns how to maximize the abilities of their Pokemon so that their teams get the edge over the opponent. Whether it comes in the form of constantly switching out intimidators to cripple physical attackers, or deliberately confusing yourself to achieve overwhelming damage via a risky play. Our team's abilities play a part in every single battle we have. The only restriction? Each Pokemon can use only one ability. Ever. And it's been that way since Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald came out. But now I pose the question. What if our Pokemon used 2 abilities at the same time in a battle? So the question is, how the flying fluff would our Pokemon use 2 of their abilities at the same time? Because seriously, that sounds broken. Even more broken than Primal Kyogre going Dynamax. Which I hope is impossible because of Game Freak lets that happen and doesn't do something to nerf its power, we're in trouble. Seriously, there's only 2 days left at the time of me, recording this, so please let me be wrong, Game Freak. Don't let this happen. Anyway, before I explain how this could happen and be used, let's talk about the benefits of what this would do for Pokemon that just can't compete with others because of specifically one of 3 things: their stats, their typing, and finally abilities available to them. One comparison we can draw upon is Corviknight versus Skarmory. On paper, it's a no-brainer. Corviknight is the superior metal flyer. It has access to mirror armor, which sends any stat reductions back to the sender. It has more health, its attack is stronger, and its special defense is better. It's overall a straight-up upgrade. Nothing Skarmory does can match it. However, there is only one thing that Skarmory has going for it, and that is it has a much higher defense stat. At 140, it can take hits much better than Corviknight can. But then you remember Corviknight can learn Bulk Up, which negates that problem. So even then, Corviknight is just better. Except one other thing that Skarmory has going for it: sturdy and weak armor. Skarmory's powerful defense stat means it is willing to take a hit and activate a weakness policy and go for something like agility to gain +2 in everything and speed, and even bait out physical attack stats and set up iron defenses and refresh itself with roost to maintain itself until it's ready to sweep. But Skarmory can only do one of those things. It can't do both. While Corviknight's abilities are mostly all passive, with exception to pressure, the others can be avoided by simply not intimidating it or relying on berries. Skarmory, however, can bait out massive hits, trigger a weakness policy, and other things that Corviknight can't do. This is where Skarmory could actually surpass Corviknight as the original Steel Flyer, if it could use both of its abilities at the same time. Let Sturdy trigger, as it endures a physical attack it's weak to, set up its stats with either agility or automatize, and at the same time trigger the weak armor to gain more speed at the cost of its defense stat, which it can be sacrificed because it's so durable. Vileplume lovers have to answer the question of Vileplume over Venusaur. Venusaur is bulkier, hits harder, has access to the same chlorophyll, but is superior because it already outspeeds Vileplume naturally. But if Vileplume could use its second ability, namely its hidden ability, as another passive ability, suddenly Vileplume has options that Venusaur doesn't, since its other ability is just the standard grass starter ability. Pokemon using 2 abilities at the same time can give Pokemon that are basically considered trash tier because they just suffer from lack of stats a chance to shine over more popular options. Let's look at one example: Pavilion, the devil of the Pokemon world because of its national dex number being 666, and seriously underloved Pokemon because it suffers from one problem: it's just not as good as the Pokemon it competes with. Why use Pavilion for its compound when you have Galvantula who hits harder and is faster? Why use Pavilion for Friend Guard when you can use Clefairy, who also has access to it, but can use the Eviolite to be tankier. But give Pavilion the ability to use 2 abilities at once, and suddenly Pavilion can offer you options that the other 2 might not. One final example I'm going to use is going to be Relincanth. Now, why am I bringing up Relincanth? Because this Pokemon has 2 abilities that would be beautiful if combined together. Swift Swim and Rockhead. If Relincanth could double its speed stat and hit with those all-powerful recoil moves without hurting itself, suddenly this rockfish looks mighty scary. Now, how would this work? How could we make it so that Pokemon could use 2 abilities at once without making them overpowered? Simple. Restrict it so that only one Pokemon could have this special trait. Perhaps make it an item they have to hold, so that they can't be overpowered, and be like Blaziken, who could go into singles and set up Swords Dance, wait for its speed boost to trigger while holding a Focus Sash or a Life Orb, so that it could just use its Blaze ability and Fire Punch or Blaze Kick everything into oblivion. Another way to make it work is that the only way it can have access to 2 abilities, and keep it fair, is that the Pokemon needs to have 2 abilities at the start for it to work. It also can't just automatically gain access to its hidden ability via this method. If it has its hidden ability, then it would use, by default, one of its other abilities that could be changed at any moment, for example via an ability capsule or some other method to keep it fair. This would keep it fair to all the starters, since some who have hidden abilities are just superior to the rest of their type in the same category. It also would be useless on legendary Pokemon, with exception to a select few. Nearly every single legendary Pokemon has only one ability. Legends, like Mewtwo, wouldn't benefit from this, and most legends that have a hidden ability are rare and restricted in use, so they aren't seen often. Nearly every legendary that has a second ability only has access to pressure, so they wouldn't get any significant benefit. These are just my thoughts and ideas for this. What do you guys think? Is there a beloved Pokemon you would love to see shine? Let me know in the comments down below if you like the video and what I do here. Like it, share it with others, etc, blah blah blah. And basically just tell me, is there like one dream Pokemon, if this method were possible, you would without a doubt use on your team if it could do this, etc, etc, etc. Until next time, bye bye!